The influence of public schools. So public schools were originally founded to provide an education outside of the houses for the rich people. However, the schools and their endowments increasingly became used by the nobility, turning the public school system into one we know today, which is an independent fee-paying school. Many of these can be found around the Bath area. This system grew in the early 19th century and sport flourished, especially in those sports such as rugby, cricket, tennis and football. For the schools, they were wealthy, so they had extensive amount of land and playing fields, so therefore they could give the children access and opportunity to these sports, hence the reason why they developed in this setting. Rules were made up to help structure the sports, whereas they weren't before. So when we talked about mob football, there was no rules, whereas in public schools they started to introduce rules to these sports. And public schools made a great contribution to sport, with the old boys carrying British sporting traditions and values around the globe, and many of these can be seen still today. In the poorer Victorian slums, factory workers and their children had little leisure time, unlike the rich. And other than street and pub games, there was little sport really taking place. Their working week, and the reason why this was because their working week would consist of around 70 hours, and hence the reason why they'd have little leisure time to be able to access these sports. However, there were many more public holidays than there is today. Bills went through Parliament in the late 1800s, which gave us the official bank holidays that we know of today. The Victorians were also very generous, creating car parks and gardens in many cities, along with libraries, theatres and playing fields, of course Victorian baths. So when this happened, that then started to get, because they created more of these parks and gardens, it gave more space for sport to take place.